Hello, I'm Shalini from Shalini Parfum.
I am Carlos Davis, friend, collaborator, and fashion stylist.
So I actually come from haute couture, and Carlos and I collaborated, I guess, for the last 20 years. And when I started creating fragrance, I wanted to bring in the elements of haute couture to Parfum, which led to the formation of Shalini Parfum, haute Parfum.
And Shalini, would you please share with us how flowers and fragrances began as your inspiration? Well, you did mention haute couture, but what else brought inspiration to you?
Well, my mom has loved flowers. She instilled the love of flowers, and she always loved flowers. And she, even to this day, she sees a rose, and it just completely transforms her day. And it's that love of flowers. It's very intuitive that, resulted in my wanting to bring in those energies into our fragrances. And it's interesting, when I was a child, I used to have this memory of running into the garden under the moonlight. As 3 or 4 year old girl, I would run into the garden under the moonlight and smell the tuberoses, in sort of the nocturnal carnal beauty, and it's just the most mesmerizing moment. And it sort of led to my wanting to bring that same moment back into the fragrance, and to transport me back there, certainly, but also for all our lovers of our fragrances, which what led to creating Shalini, the eponymous fragrance, the first one. So,
which was actually going to be my next question to you, was what led to the inspiration of your first fragrance, but...
Well, Maurice, actually, meeting Maurice, serendipity. Maurice, you've met Maurice as well through.
Oh, yes.
We've had dinner together.
Yeah, we're like one big family.
So, and I met Maurice, I guess it was about 20 years ago, and I met him through a common friend. And I found that a lot of my life, and the collaborations and the creations are really based on friendship, and he and I connected on the concept of creating something really beautiful and something very pure.
If I may interrupt, you two had a wonderful chemistry right from the beginning.
Right, yes, we did. And he came and saw the fashion, actually. He came and saw the haute couture collection, and he just fell in love with what I was doing for couture. And I was always complaining to him about how I didn't have a great, there wasn't a great fragrance out there that had the tuberose absolute in its pure form, in the liquid gold form. And he's like, why don't we create one? And that's how it sort of started. And so in a way, Shalini Parfum would not have existed if I had not met Maurice. And it was, the friendship and the joy of creating something together. And it's really an honor for me to be able to work with him on the entire series. And the series is actually inspired by moods and passions of the soul. So each one has its own sort of, inspiration and a moment of life that is being conveyed in the fragrance. The Mediterranean is my favorite part of the world. To be in the south of France, it's my great wish and desire to have a home in the south of France, which has got olive trees and fig trees and lemon trees and lavender and jasmine and thyme and rosemary, and just you want to go there now, right? So it's that sort of feeling, and you have these ancient olive trees, and then you have the breeze from the Mediterranean coming in, and sort of permeates with all the trees, and it's permeating with all the aromatics, and you've got jasmine and gardenia and all of these gorgeous flowers blooming, and then you have the herbs and you have the trees, and it's all sort of mingling, and that's my greatest desire, wish in life. Well, Paradis Provence, which is paradise for me, it's basically that. It's a way of wearing that on my skin right now in New York City, while I don't have my home in the Mediterranean. So it's a way of transporting.
Yes. You don't have your home yet.
Yes, yet. We have to go there when we have it, very quickly. It's that feeling of Paradis Provence. And Maurice is a great lover of Provence as well. He spent a lot of time, he actually has a home there, and when he and I were discussing about Paradis, he said, I said golden light. He said, yes, solar energy. I want the solar energy. So this was the solar energy, and then you have the lumière, which is the next one, which is the lunar energy. And so we captured what is solar energy. I mean, you capture oranges and bergamots, and it's all that citrus. And then you have the thyme and the lavender and sunflowers that sort of turn to face the golden sun. It's all of that we're trying to. That's apparently.
That sounds magical. So you mentioned your next fragrance.
Iri Lumière, which we launched last year.
The inspiration behind that. Tell us a little bit more about what inspired that one.
Well, Iri Lumière, it's interesting. I wanted Paradis Provence as being the golden light, and I wanted Iri Lumière to be the lunar light. So you have the silver light. It's the solar, lunar, golden, silver, and it's almost like the twin lights of creation. So they're twin fragrances, and Iris is considered the goddess of rainbows. Iris is the goddess of rainbows, and you have these fields of irises and hyacinths.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, and that's really, yeah, it's like you feel the green energy, and then there's the galbanum in there, and then there's the iris muguet hyacinth, which is just the spring energy you feel. But Lumière is like swimming in the sea in moonlight, you know, just having that beautiful water energy, the lunar, you know, you have the tides and you're connecting with the moon and all of that energy together with Lumière. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And it's interesting because Maurice is very much known as an iris connoisseur. He's created the Serge Lutens iris, and it's completely different. And iris is very often considered to be more powdery or sweet, and this one is really water. It's lunar. It's literally the moon affecting the ocean waves. And this was, again, you know, we were working on this, and again, it's like the poem. It's the poem of the golden and silver lights, and he uses that as an inspiration. And it's a beautiful way that we work together, which is, I'm really honored to have that in my life, because it's, you have a friend and you're just, you know, you kind of have that synergy, and it's easy to create. It's not difficult at all. It's just easy. So,
Shalini, you have a series of fragrances, and we're going to have one more addition to the series, correct?
right. Yes.
And do we know yet what the inspiration is for that last
The last jewel. The seventh.
There you go. The seventh jewel.
Yes, the seventh jewel, the seven masterpieces. So
Yes.
we are the only complete collection by Maurice, you know, and it's interesting because each one is a masterpiece in its own self and its purity and all of that. So the seventh one it's a transition. Each fragrance is a transition of life. So you have Shalini, which is very sweet and virginal, and the idea of a butterfly in chrysalis state, you know, emerging from a chrysalis state, metamorphosis. And then you have Jardin Nocturne, which is masculine, feminine, and it's kind of actually in a weird way. There's a book by Hemingway called The Garden of Eden, and it's sort of that. It's like the sense of the masculine and feminine mingling outside, but also internally. And it's very sensual and sexual. And then you have Amor and Rose, which is the greatest love, inspired by rose gardens and Pablo Neruda poetry. And so you see how the transition is. It's like you're growing from this, it's the transition of life, you know, it's the different moods and stages of life. That's where you have the moods and passions of the soul. And Paradis Provence and Iri Lumière are the twin lights of creation. They're the solar lunar energy, the golden light, silver light. It's sort of the twin soul, the concept of finding this great twin soul of yours. And then you have Vanille Rêve, which is, Vanille Rêve is, it's vanilla dreams, and it's the ice Tahiti, it's joy, it's pleasure, it's all of that. And finally, the last one, which is going to be coming to this place of peace within your soul, a sense of understanding of yourself and coming to a place of sanctum, an inner sanctum, in a peace and a state of nirvana, and that's the final in the series of Maurice. So each, in the collection of which is Shalini Parfum, we would have different series, and each series is, its own sort of mood and its own feeling. So thank you so much, and happy Fragrance Day to everyone.
Yes,
Thank you.
happy Fragrance Day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.